everyone, welcome back to the channel and day 6 of our trip where we start heading west. So if you're planning the trip to Newfoundland, inevitably you'll end up on Patrick Ryan's website, crossingnewfoundlandbyatv.com. It's a wealth of information there, and what he does is gives you this downloadable map of all the trails he's mapped out over the years. So I just thought I'd spend a bit of time talking about the maps that I've used to do the trip. So here you can see this is a screenshot of the where we traveled on day 6, and this is from Patrick's site. So it's a great site. It's Locust Maps, and I downloaded Locust Maps, got the silver edition, and that's what we use mostly for the trip. So it's very detailed. You can zoom right in, a little arrow you follow, and if you miss a trail by 20 feet, you notice it right away. So all I did was I recorded over all this as we went along the trip. And then when I'm posting my map pictures, I've just removed Patrick's part of the trails and shows mine. So this is what you see here. This is the same trip that we took, and it's basically just an overlay of us following Patrick's trail. But you know, if anything that we do that's not what he did, it'll show up, and then I can go back and reference this if we ever do the trip again. So we use Locust Maps a lot. The other one I use a fair bit too was Wikiloc. If I forgot to record on Locust Maps one day, I still had that trail recorded on Wikiloc, which I used on my iPhone. And this was on a tablet. Locust Maps was on the tablet mounted in the machine. So yeah, the Wikiloc, the big advantages to that, there's people all over it's all over the country, all over the world that put their own trails on Wikiloc, and you can follow their trails. So Wikiloc really helped us once we turned east at Placentia Junction, because Patrick hadn't actually gone that way. He just showed the main trails that he picked up from some other stuff. So we basically use Wikiloc for all that. And so in my videos, when you see the satellite images where it's, you know, all the green and the trails, that's usually the Wikiloc. My Locust Maps looks like this because this is an offline map, and it'll change to do whatever you want. They're really great resources. And then finally, Google Maps, just to verify where we were going. So between the three of those, you really shouldn't get lost. All right, so enough of the map thing. So day 6, you can see on the map here, down the bottom right, I have a black line, and the top left is another black line up at Clarenville. So we started bottom right from our friend's cabin. And so the day before, we got fuel in Conception Harbor, and we're, you know, planning on getting fuel in Whitbourne, as it showed a gas station there. But the gas station is now just an empty lot. So you can see I put a little trail going north there to it says gas. That was a 10-kilometer round trip to go get fuel up on the Trans-Canada. We actually had to take an on-ramp down onto the highway to get to the gas station. It was a bit weird coming down there at first, but as the trip went on, it's fine, and no one bothered us. So from there, we backtracked down and made sure we didn't miss the turn off at Placentia Junction, and worked our way all the way up to Clarenville. And we did another stop at Goobies for fuel. So there's not a whole lot of video in this. Pretty much the trail all the way from Whitbourne to Clarenville, it's very, very similar. So I just didn't want to put in, you know, tons of time of just the same old thing. So I just had sporadic bits of the trail put in. So yeah, so it was 170 kilometers from the cabin all the way to Clarenville by the time it was done. So here we are on the trail. We're north of Come By Chance. So we got away about mid-morning from the cabin. And again, it's a beautiful, sunny, blue skies, a few clouds, warm day, shorts and t-shirts. Couldn't ask for anything better. So our first planned stop, like I was mentioning on the map part, was to get fuel at Goobies. It's probably about 130 kilometers into the trip from the cabin. So we knew we would need fuel. So it's about mid-afternoon or so here, and it was like, yeah, we're getting hungry. So it's like we're looking for the Goobies, and this is just some of the trail on the way there. So you'll see here, we noticed on the map we got to the tunnel, but we missed the turnoff, which was just back to the left. As it turns out, we probably could have gone through the tunnel because I saw on the map that there was, numerous ways to get back onto the trail. But this is what the trail was showing, like say from Patrick's trail map. So we just turned around, went back, and found this little trail. So it's just up here off to the right. So you can see on the map there where I've got the arrow point to the tunnel, so we just turned around there and then found the little trail, and it worked its way up. It's weird as you come off the trail, it's like you're coming in through someone's logging yard. Anyways, we just made our way back up and turned right, went down the highway, but we did miss the back entrance. You can see on the map where I pointed that out, and it was just a back way in, but no big deal. We went down to the Trans-Canada, and once again, just went down the highway a piece and found the Big Irvin's stop for fuel and some food. So filled our tummies and yeah, we're just retraced our steps back to the trailway and on our way to Clarenville after that. So here is the trail that we had just driven by, and just a short drive back down from the tunnel. So here we are turning right onto it, and this will take us over to Irving's big stop. With bellies full and tanks full of fuel, this is our last 40 kilometers or so stretch to our hotel in Clarenville. When we were planning the trip, we decided we would do a combination of hotels, cabins, B&Bs, camping. We've been told that you can pretty much camp wherever you want along the trailway, but in reality, there wasn't a whole lot of spots unless you have like a really small tent. But Denise and I had a fairly large tent. With my disability, I need to be able to stand up and move around, sleep on a cot. So there's a couple of spots we looked at along the way, and we decided, well, do we try that? But without knowing what it was or ever seeing pictures, we decided, like for this particular day, there was one spot that we saw on Patrick's map that possible camping. So we decided that, well, hey, we got the time, add a little bit, not a little trail. So we went down to this lake to check out this camp spot. So here you can see it's deviating off. I have it marked. We just took little bit of time. It was fairly tight, and there's an interesting little trail going down there. It was fun, and it was a really nice lake, but pretty small for our size of, with our two big machines and our big tent. Mark's tent was a fairly good size too. So wouldn't really enough room, but if you're just by yourself in a small tent or a couple of people, then it worked fine. Here's a couple of pictures of the area. So you can see here it was definitely a really nice private spot. You can only get to off-road. And then just down the trail a piece, didn't take long. We get to the turn off down to the Clarenville hotels and gas area that you can stay in. So here on the map, it shows, this is actually a map of us leaving on the next day, but I drew in the little part coming in on the bottom left, showing the arrows. And yeah, the trail brings you right down, and you just get right down to the Trans-Canada, hanging a left, and the top quality hotels that we stayed in there in Clarenville is right there. It was a great place. The next morning when we got up, it's the same trail going out as coming in. It just shows us going up to get gas. Actually, and just before that gas station, if you look just to the left, there's the Clarenville Inn, which is another place that you can stay. We like the top qualities. We can just park our machines right outside the front door of the hotel room. So it worked out really good. Great place to stay. So I'll show the come down the trail to the turnoff, which has got lots of signs and well marked. So that's what's coming up here. This is about 7 o'clock in the evening by the time we got to the hotel, and we knew there was a restaurant in the hotel, so we were planning on just eating there for the night and have a good meal. It would be a later one because we ate a little bit later in the day at Gooby Station. As it turns out, we arrived for dinner about 8:30 because they said you could show up till 9, and we were told, sorry, we've closed the dining lounge because it's just too hot in the kitchen. And we're like, wow. So I guess their heat waves here in Newfoundland are different than what we're used to. And I mean, it was hot, but yeah, they closed the kitchen. So we're like, oh, what do we do for dinner? And it turns out we ended up just ordering in pizza, eating in the hotel room, and we had beer with us, so it was all good. Anyways, this is the last little bit coming down here. You end up actually coming into some construction companies or heavy equipment, whatever it was. Come right through their back into their backyards, or you just drive down through here, and there's a helicopter base down here to the right just before we make a 90-degree turn, and then you're right there at the hotel. So it's super easy, just as long as it's marked on the trail. But like I say, back up on the main trail, there's lots of signs showing down at Clarenville, so you really can't miss that trail unless you're just like going really fast and not looking. So it was all easy. It was good. Turned out to be a great night.
stay on the side of the road here. The hotel's right there. Oh, I'm a kilometer off. 7.1.
So there you are. You can see how easy it is. It's just drive right up to the front door, hop out, go grab your keys, and down to your room you go. We'd already, when I booked the hotel room, I did ask her to get on the main floor because we're in side by sides and need to unload our gear and put it in the room. So yeah, it was turned out well. We got right on the first floor, just down from the entrance. There we are. So there's quite a few other people there on off-road adventures themselves. So once again, thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon for day 7.